Join me in honoring and welcoming to the podium Jennifer Hyman. Yes,
thank you so much. Hi. First, I wanted to say a huge congratulations to the 6 high school seniors who we saw honored here tonight. Luca, Olivia, Jerome, Michael, Stephanie, and Monet. I think that it was incredibly inspiring to see how all 6 of these students have taken very different paths throughout high school, have achieved so much, and you know that their futures are going to be so bright. So I just wanted to, as I was thinking about this incredibly humbling honor, I was thinking back to my time at New Rochelle High School and how it's really molded my life. And I really took away 4 important lessons from New Rochelle that I just wanted to briefly talk about. New Rochelle to date is the most authentically diverse environment that I have ever lived in. And when I say diversity, I don't just mean diversity of race or ethnicity or of class. I'm also talking about diversity of talent, of interest. I remember in high school, New Rochelle was one of the few high schools throughout Westchester which had a community of special ed kids that were involved in the high school, going to school every day. I remember those kids walking through the hallways and receiving as much love and support and welcoming from the rest of the students in the school as anyone else. Those kids attending our prom as well. And I think it's a very special type of environment that recognizes all people. The second, the other interesting thing about high school for me was when I was at New Rochelle High School, the biggest club at the high school was the AIDS Awareness Club. And I graduated in 1998. It was a community at the time that was so ahead of its time, ahead of its game in accepting all difference. So there was a huge community at New Rochelle High School of openly out gay students who were proud of who they were. And I remember getting to Harvard and being surprised at how that wasn't the same thing there, that people were still closeted, uncomfortable. There wasn't the same level of pride for who you were that was so just part of the game at New Rochelle. Like it wasn't even a thought that someone wasn't going to be accepted for who they were. So that was just one of the privileges of being in an environment which was so open. The second lesson that I learned from New Rochelle is that it's an environment which tries to teach all of the ways that you build self-confidence. I think that it's very simplistic to think that everyone is going to excel at English, that everyone is going to excel at math. You know, there are so many different talents that we all have, and New Rochelle gives its students an opportunity to shine in such amazing areas. I spent most of my time in high school in theater and chorus and chorale, so the performance here today was unbelievable. And being able to recognize and create pride in young people for all of the incredible skill sets that they have, and those things are actually going to lead to the types of creative outcomes and the type of business outcomes, things like being a great athlete on a sports team and learning about how to collaborate with teammates, how to put on a production, how to actually run the newspaper, the tech club at New Rochelle High School. I was impressed today walking around the high school at the incredible new arts wing that was built since I was there, and I really think that a high school that fosters all of your talents is actually going to create an environment where everyone feels like they could go out into the world and make a difference. The third thing, which I think has most preciously affected my life and what I do for my own job, is the fact that New Rochelle was the first environment that I had been in. So I had gone to a private school, actually, from kindergarten through 8th grade. That was a small Jewish private school in Westchester called Solomon Schechter. And there were 40 people in my class, in my full grade there. And I got to New Rochelle High School freshman year. And it was a very eye-opening, shocking experience. And it was it was an amazing experience, but it was also just very different. There were 40 people in my homeroom in high school. One of the first things I noticed is that many of my classmates at New Rochelle were leaving school early to go to jobs. Often they would have to have multiple jobs, second jobs, having free lunch. And just knowing that I was in a situation where that wasn't the case, I was able to do extracurriculars after school. I was able to have tutors to help me with my classes that likely helped me in my journey, or definitely helped me in my academic journey throughout high school. So really understanding for the first time at New Rochelle that things were not fair in life, and that where you grow up and the income that your parents make should not actually define your life chances. So I have created a company where the mission of Rent-The-Runway is to democratize the most elite, snobby, $1.7 trillion global industry that educates a global population of people to aspire to a life that 99% of the world cannot afford. So one thing that I'm doing, because I've been so inspired by this honor, is that just to say thank you to New Rochelle and the community. For this year's senior prom, I'm going to be donating a free prom dress, handbag, accessories, and hair and makeup to every woman attending the New Rochelle for the men too. Just I need some time. I need some time to do that. And just the final lesson is that, New Rochelle taught me that it's actually people that drive community. Community does not create itself. Community doesn't just exist. And when I think about my high school experience, despite the fact that I had a very large grade, there were 700 of us that entered our freshman year. I remember so many of the individual people who were in my class, unique things about them, interesting experiences we had together, incredible talents that all of those people had. And I really believe from that experience that people create culture. Today, I had the privilege of being hosted and toured around the high school by Principal Reggie. And I wish that Reggie had been the principal when I was at high school, because this is a man who is so passionate about the community of New Rochelle, about the students of New Rochelle. It's very clear. And he is someone who is going to take the community that already exists in New Rochelle and bring it to the next level and unify it. And I hope that having Reggie as the principal of the school inspires so many of us from the community to step up into all different types of leadership roles where we can lend a hand and really do whatever we can for this incredible, dynamic community. So I want to say thank you to my fellow honorees, who I'm so honored to be here with you guys tonight. I am in shock that I am receiving this honor. I feel like I was in high school just yesterday, but I guess I wasn't. It was 17 years ago. And I wanted to thank my friends, my family, my extended family, and everyone who's shown me so much love and inspiration throughout my life. And I cannot wait for the seniors of this year and everyone who is standing up here singing to go out and found their own companies. And my dream with Rent-The-Runway is to prove, so less than 4% of all venture capital dollars go to women. Far less than 4% go to people of color. There are 3 women in the United States right now, besides me, who have raised over $125 million in venture capital funding, and that's it. That's a travesty, because there are thousands, tens of thousands of women who have big dreams and big goals and should be given the opportunity to go out and pursue their dreams. And part of what I'm trying to prove with Rent-The-Runway and building the company is that when you invest in people that don't look the part, and when you give people a chance to go out and pursue their dream and do something amazing, they're going to succeed, and you should invest in more people that actually change the dynamics of power in this country. Power in this country should actually look like the demographics of this country. So until we live in that world, we still have to work for this community. So thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here, and I can't wait to dress those girls for prom.